I am Dr. Leana, and today I need to tell you something that most doctors never say out loud in a video like this. What's quietly destroying the health of millions of people over 50 isn't a disease. It isn't a diagnosis. It isn't something that shows up on a blood test before it's already done serious damage. It's something you do every single day. Something that feels completely normal. Something that, on the surface, looks like you're taking care of yourself. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Because the most harmful thing you can do to your body after 50 feels like rest. It feels like wisdom. It feels like finally listening to your body after decades of pushing too hard. And while you're sitting there feeling responsible and careful, something terrifying is unfolding inside you. Your muscles are shrinking. Your blood sugar is creeping upward. A slow, silent fire of inflammation is spreading through your system. And the window to stop it is quietly closing. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, everything is going to connect. And by the end of this, you won't just understand what's happening inside your body. You'll know exactly what to do about it. Let's start with a question. Have you noticed that you feel more tired lately, even though you're doing less? More exhausted in the morning than you used to be. Less energy getting through the afternoon. Less motivation to do the things you used to enjoy. And maybe you've told yourself it's just aging. It's just getting older. It's just how things go. But here's what I need you to hear. That fatigue isn't a sign that you need more rest. In many cases, it is a direct consequence of too much of it. And the longer that cycle continues, the harder it becomes to break. Because what you're experiencing isn't just tiredness. It's your body sending you a signal. And most people don't recognize that signal until the damage has already been building for years. Let me explain exactly what's happening inside your body, because once you understand this, you will never look at a quiet afternoon on the couch the same way again. After 50, your body begins a biological shift that most people are never properly warned about. The hormones that once supported muscle repair and tissue recovery start to decline. Protein synthesis, which is simply your body's process of building and maintaining muscle, slows down. Recovery from any kind of physical effort takes longer, and your muscles, which were once incredibly forgiving, become far more demanding of consistent effort just to stay intact. Your body is not sentimental. It does not hold on to things it doesn't believe you need anymore, and it makes that determination based on signals. Every single day, your body is asking one very simple question. Is this person still physically active? Is this muscle still being used? Is this strength still required? When the answer is yes, it preserves. When the answer is no, it dismantles. This is not a flaw in your biology. It is a feature. Your body is incredibly efficient. It doesn't want to maintain expensive tissue that isn't being used. So it breaks it down. And that process, when it unfolds over months and years without interruption, has a name. It's called sarcopenia, and it is one of the most underestimated health threats facing adults over 50 today. Here's what makes it so serious. Most people think of muscle loss as a cosmetic issue. Maybe you look a little smaller. Maybe you don't feel as strong as you used to. But that's not where the real danger lives. Because muscle is not just tissue that helps you lift things. Muscle is one of the most metabolically active organs in your entire body. It is doing critical work around the clock that has nothing to do with lifting or running or being athletic. Think of your muscles as both a storage facility and a furnace. They store glucose, which is the sugar that enters your bloodstream every time you eat. And they burn that glucose for energy throughout the day. When your muscle mass is healthy, your body handles blood sugar efficiently. Sugar comes in, muscles absorb it, energy gets produced, balance is maintained. But when muscle mass declines, that equation breaks down entirely. Imagine eating a completely normal meal. The same breakfast you've had for years. Except now, your body has significantly less muscle tissue to absorb and use the sugar from that meal. So where does it go? It stays in your bloodstream, longer than it should, at higher levels than it should, and your body scrambles to deal with it. The pancreas releases insulin. Insulin's job is to push that sugar into your cells. But here's where something deeply dangerous begins to happen. Over time, when your cells are repeatedly flooded with insulin because blood sugar keeps spiking, they start to become resistant to it. They stop responding the way they should. The doors that should open to let sugar in start to stay closed. Inside your muscle cells are tiny structures called GLUT4 transporters. These are literally the gateways that allow glucose to enter and be converted to energy. When you move your muscles, when you contract them with any kind of resistance or effort, these gateways open. Sugar moves in, blood sugar stabilizes, energy is produced. The system works. But when you're sedentary, those gateways stay shut. Sugar accumulates in the blood. Insulin levels rise. The body begins converting and storing that excess sugar as fat. And your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and cardiovascular complications rises steadily in the background while you feel absolutely nothing unusual at all. And we're still only halfway through what inactivity is doing to you. Because alongside everything happening with your blood sugar and your insulin, another process is unfolding that most people never hear about until significant damage has already occurred. Chronic inflammation. Now, before you switch off at the word inflammation, I want you to understand something. Inflammation itself is not the enemy. Acute inflammation is how your body heals. You get a cut, inflammation rushes in, repair happens, inflammation resolves. That's the system working exactly as designed. The problem is what happens when inflammation never fully shuts off. When it becomes a permanent low-grade state that smolders in the background of your biology for months and years, without you ever feeling a sharp pain or noticing an obvious symptom. That's chronic inflammation. And it's silently connected to nearly every major disease of aging. Heart disease, cognitive decline, joint deterioration, metabolic dysfunction. The list is long and it is serious. And here's the connection most people never get told. When your muscles contract during physical activity, they release molecules called myokines. These are essentially anti-inflammatory signals. They circulate through your body, calming your immune system, reducing inflammatory activity, keeping the internal environment balanced and healthy. Movement is your body's built-in anti-inflammatory mechanism. It's been there your entire life, working quietly every time you were physically active. But when you stop moving, those signals disappear. And without them, your immune system has no counterbalance. The slow fire of chronic inflammation builds, and it doesn't announce itself. It just quietly damages tissue, disrupts hormonal signaling, accelerates cellular aging, and increases vulnerability to every major chronic disease simultaneously. So now your body is dealing with 3 serious processes happening at once. Muscle is declining, blood sugar is destabilizing, inflammation is rising, and you feel tired. But it still doesn't stop there, because what comes next affects you at the most fundamental level possible. Your mitochondria. These are the microscopic power plants inside every one of your cells. Their entire job is to take nutrients and convert them into usable energy. And when they are functioning well, you feel it. Consistent energy throughout the day, mental clarity, physical resilience, emotional stability, all of it is downstream of mitochondrial health. Regular movement makes your mitochondria more numerous, more efficient, and more powerful. Your cells quite literally produce more energy because they have better equipment to do it. But chronic inactivity does the opposite. Mitochondria shrink. They lose efficiency. They produce less energy. And this is the moment when that confusing, frustrating fatigue begins to make biological sense. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because your cells have lost their capacity to produce energy at the level your body needs. And because you're tired, you move less. And because you move less, your mitochondria weaken further. And because your mitochondria weaken, you feel more exhausted. This cycle is not metaphorical. It is a measurable, documentable physiological process, and it traps millions of people every year who believe they're responding wisely to their fatigue when they're actually deepening it. I worked with a patient once, a woman in her early 60s, bright and sharp and genuinely trying to take care of herself. She had stopped her regular walks months before because she felt exhausted. She told me she was resting because her body needed it. What she didn't know, and what changed everything for her when she understood it, was that the exhaustion was being caused by the inactivity, not the other way around. The moment we reframed that, everything shifted. And now let's talk about something that I think deserves far more attention than it usually gets in conversations about aging. The brain. Because what weakens the body does not stay in the body. Movement increases blood flow to the brain, and not just generally. It specifically increases circulation to the regions responsible for memory, learning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. It triggers the release of a protein called BDNF, which functions like fertilizer for your neurons, supporting the growth of new brain cells and the formation of new neural connections. It stimulates neuroplasticity, which is your brain's remarkable ability to adapt, reorganize, and maintain its sharpness across a lifetime. When you stop moving, all of that slows down. Blood flow to the brain decreases. BDNF production drops, neuroplasticity diminishes, and your risk of cognitive decline, memory impairment, and ultimately dementia rises in direct proportion to how sedentary your lifestyle has become. This is not a small point buried in a research paper somewhere. This is one of the most replicated findings in aging science over the past 2 decades. Movement protects the brain. Inactivity accelerates its decline. The evidence is overwhelming, and it is not getting nearly enough attention in public health conversations. So let's now talk about what you can actually do. Because this video is not meant to frighten you. It's meant to give you something far more valuable than fear. It's meant to give you clarity. And with clarity comes power. The solution is not extreme. It is not complicated. It does not require a gym membership, expensive equipment, or training like an athlete. What it requires is consistency and intention. Start with daily movement. Walking is genuinely one of the most powerful medicines available to you right now. A consistent daily walk, even 20 to 30 minutes, improves circulation, activates your muscles, helps regulate blood sugar, and begins re-establishing the movement signals your body has been missing. If you can walk outside, even better. The combination of light, fresh air, and gentle terrain adds additional layers of benefit that are well documented in the research. But here's a detail that surprises most people. The research is very clear that long, unbroken periods of sitting are harmful to your health, even if you exercise regularly. Sitting for several hours without interruption elevates blood sugar, slows circulation, and promotes inflammatory activity regardless of what you did earlier in the day. So breaking up your sitting time every 30 to 60 minutes is not optional if you want to protect your health. Stand up, take a few steps across the room, do a set of calf raises by your desk. March in place for 60 seconds. These small interruptions send a continuous stream of signals to your body that says, we are still active, we still need this muscle, we are not in decline. Next, protein. After 50, your body becomes significantly less efficient at processing dietary protein, which means the amount you need actually increases, not decreases. Most older adults are eating far less protein than their muscles require to maintain themselves. Without adequate protein, even a good exercise routine produces suboptimal results because your muscles don't have the raw materials they need to repair and rebuild. Focus on including quality protein at every meal. Eggs, lean meats, fish, legumes, Greek yogurt, and if needed, a quality protein supplement. Aim for at least 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. This is not excessive. For aging adults, it is foundational. And now, the most important strategy of everything we've discussed today. Resistance training. This is the single most powerful intervention available to adults over 50. And I want to be very clear about what that means, because I know the words resistance training make a lot of people picture something that isn't them. It doesn't mean lifting heavy weights at a crowded gym. It means any form of exercise where your muscles are working against some kind of resistance. Bodyweight exercises like squats, modified push-ups, lunges, and step-ups count. Resistance bands, which are inexpensive and can be used anywhere, count. Light dumbbells or kettlebells count. Even water aerobics or certain forms of yoga count. The point is to give your muscles a reason to maintain and rebuild themselves. And when you do that, everything we've talked about today begins to reverse. Muscle protein synthesis increases. Glut-fear transporters reopen. Blood sugar regulation improves. Insulin sensitivity is restored. Inflammatory myokines flood your system. Mitochondria multiply and strengthen. Energy returns. Balance improves. Cognitive function is supported, and your risk of falls, fractures, metabolic disease, and cognitive decline decreases measurably with every consistent week you put in. 2 to 3 sessions per week of 30 to 45 minutes each is enough to produce real, significant, lasting change. What matters is not how hard you train in any given session. What matters is that you show up consistently over time, because the body changes in response to repeated signals. One hard workout followed by weeks of rest tells your body nothing useful. 3 moderate sessions every week for months tells your body everything it needs to hear. I want to leave you with this. The body you have 5 years from now is not going to be determined primarily by luck or genetics or circumstances beyond your control. It is going to be determined largely by the signals you send it starting today. Movement is the most powerful signal available to you. It speaks to your muscles, your metabolism, your immune system, your mitochondria, and your brain all at once. It tells your body that you are still here, still capable, still worthy of investment. And your body, which is far more responsive than most people realize, will listen. The mistake isn't aging. Aging is inevitable, and there is beauty in it when you're strong enough to live it fully. The mistake is silence. The mistake is going still. The mistake is confusing the absence of strain with the presence of health. You were not designed to slow down and disappear quietly. You were designed to move. And it is never, not at 60, not at 70, not at 80, too late to remind your body of that. So tell me in the comments, what is one thing you are going to do differently this week? One walk? One set of exercises? One decision to stand up instead of stay seated? I genuinely want to know. And if this conversation gave you something real today, please subscribe, because every week I am here with science-backed, practical strategies to help you stay strong, sharp, and fully alive in the second half of your life. Your future health is not already written. It is being written right now. And you are holding the pen. I'll see you in the next video.